Hello my sweet friends, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a reading vlog, but it's a little different, it has a little bit of a twist. I haven't done this before, but I've seen other people do it and I don't know, it looks like a bit of fun. I hope it's fun. I hope I don't regret this. I've seen a few people do this video where they challenge themselves to read a certain amount of pages each day for a week. And at first I was like, I'm gonna try that and I'm going to challenge myself to read 100 pages of a book each day for a week. But I was thinking about it and I was like, I actually have no idea how many pages I typically read a day. It's just not something that I track. I feel like some days I probably could read like 300 pages and then other days I probably read like 15. So I think some days 100 pages could be very easy, but some days it could be a lot more difficult. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, no, I want to challenge myself further and I don't know if I'm going to regret this. I might regret this, but I'm going to try and challenge myself to read 200 pages a day. Today is Thursday and I'll tell you which books I'm reading right now and obviously keep you updated with my thoughts on all of the books as I go throughout this week. But I just thought this would be fun, hopefully challenging, but in a good way. So let's see how it goes. In my head, I'm like, surely 200 pages is not that bad. But again, like I said, I might regret this. Okay. As for the books that I'm going to be reading this week, I'm definitely a mood reader, so I'm just going to pick up whatever I'm in the mood for, but I am currently reading multiple books. Apparently I'm incapable of reading one book at a time, so let's go through the roster. Starting off, we have The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. This is the second book in the Scholomance, I think that's how you pronounce it, the Scholomance trilogy. I finished the first book a few days ago and obviously I've started the second one and I'm really liking this so far. I am almost exactly halfway through. I'm on page 210, so just over halfway. I'm really enjoying this. It's a really fun time. It's like a school for wizards and the school is kind of almost like evil. Like the school is trying to kind of kill them. So they're trying to defeat a bunch of monsters. They're trying to survive, trying to graduate. So this is a lot of fun. I'm also finally reading Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I'm reading this on my Kindle. Also, I decorated my Kindle with some stickers and it's so cute. I'm obsessed. But that's not the point. I'm reading this book. I think I'm currently on page 174 and this is a fairly long book. It's 599 pages. So hopefully we can finish that in the next week, because if I'm being honest, I know some people are like die-hard fans of this, but it hasn't hooked me yet. I don't know if I'm just like not far enough into it to have my moment and like really be connected yet. But so far, like I'm not hating it. It's not a bad book at all, but I'm not getting the hype right now. Again, I hope I change my mind. I hope that I fall in love with it the same way that everyone else has, but right now it's just okay. And I'm not really looking forward to reading 600 pages of it, but crossing our fingers that we fall in love. I'm also doing a reread right now of A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm only up to page 74, which is chapter 8. I'm buddy reading this with my friend Soph, which is really fun, and she's reading it for the first time, which is even more fun. But I'm really enjoying doing my reread so far. I feel like I'm noticing a lot of like details and things that I didn't really pick up on the first time. And I feel like this series specifically is definitely a series that I can see myself rereading many times in the future because it's one of my favorites, but I'll keep you updated on that. And then lastly, I have barely started this, so I don't even know if I should even include it, but I am on page 26 of To Kill a Kingdom. And again, I'm really enjoying this so far. I've only read 26 pages, but this one is about a siren, so kind of like a mermaid, and a prince. I think those are all of the books that I'm reading so far. So we definitely have a lot of options, and knowing me, I'll probably pick up some other things throughout the week as well, because like I said, I'm incapable of only reading one book at a time. But I'm intrigued to see how hard or easy this challenge is. I feel like today I haven't got too much planned, at least for the afternoon, so I feel like today might not be as difficult to get those 200 pages done. But as for the days where I have a few more plans, I'm a little bit busier, those are the ones I'm a little more worried about. If all goes to plan and I complete this challenge over the next week, let's say at least 5 days, I want to do at least 5 days, I will have read 1,000 pages and that would be ideal. So I'll keep you guys updated. It is a lot later now. I'm actually just about to head to bed and do my last little chunk of reading, I guess. Literally just read until I fall asleep. But I thought I'd give you an update because we had a great reading afternoon, like an absolutely fantastic reading afternoon. So I finished The Last Graduate. I think when I spoke to you, it was like midday and I was halfway through. At around page 200, I finished it and it was so good. so freaking good. I don't have the third book. It definitely ended on a cliffhanger and now I really want to read the third one, but this was, yeah, it was just so good. I honestly think it was quite a lot better than the first one. It's not that I didn't like the first one. I liked the first one too, but I think the issues that I had with the first one was just that it was a little bit confusing, like the magic system and just like the world building. It just took me a while to really get into it and get immersed into the story and just like get the hang of it. But I feel like because I could just like jump straight into this one, I knew the characters, I knew the world building, I knew the magic system, it just flowed so much better and I just loved the storyline of this one. It was just fantastic. So this was just, yeah, a great read. And then I also read some more of ACOTAR, not a crazy amount more. I think I started on page 70 something and now I'm at page 140. So those are my reading updates. I haven't made any progress on any of these two. However, I'm about to go to bed and just read until I go to sleep, and I think I'm gonna read on my Kindle just because that's what I like to read before bed. Guys, I really am not loving this book. Like the idea of picking this up, I don't want to say I'm dreading it, but I'm just like not looking forward to it. It's not bad. It's just like not like there's nothing drawing me in. I just don't care enough about these characters yet. Like I said, I feel like, I don't know, the way people talk about this series is just like they're obsessed with it, and they talk about it like people talk about the Addicted Calloway Sisters universe, which I love. I love that series so bad, and I've heard multiple people, including Steph, say that this series gives her the same feeling as when she read the Addicted Calloway universe, and I finished that universe, so of course I'm looking for things to fill the void that now exists within me, and this is just not hitting the spot. But I definitely didn't get those feelings in the first or even second Addicted book either. It took me until the third Addicted book to really get into it, so maybe I just need to give it some time. Watch me come back and be obsessed with this. I hope I can be obsessed with it, because there's no better feeling than just like loving a book, especially a contemporary romance series. There's something just so nice about feeling really attached to a group of characters. Guys, I have a confession. It is 8:45 p.m. on day 2 and I haven't finished my reading yet. I actually don't even know how many pages I've read this morning. I woke up at my normal time and read a little bit of ACOTAR this morning, but I don't know how much. I need to check. Left the house at 7 a.m. Just got home. It's 8:45 p.m. So I have not read since like 7 a.m. this morning. Oh, it's my own fault, but I guess we have some reading to do. But I need to shower and eat something because I haven't eaten dinner yet and I'm hungry, so we're gonna get on that. Okay guys, I'm showered, I'm ready to eat, but I thought I would quickly give you a recap from yesterday because I never gave you the stats. So I didn't read any of To Kill a Kingdom. I read 178 pages from The Last Graduate. I read 68 pages from ACOTAR, and I read 31 pages of Binding 13 when I went to sleep last night. So in total, I read 277 pages, which is fantastic. We love to see it. I read my 200 pages. However, today we're not looking good. So far, I have only read a little bit of ACOTAR. I'm up to page 189, chapter 21, which means how many pages have I read? 46. Awesome. So this is going to be a long night. Excited for that. It is 9:17 p.m. right now. I'm going to eat something and I'm going to probably read ACOTAR because I don't have to think as hard since this is a reread and my brain's kind of already getting a bit tired. So I would normally be in bed by now, if I'm being completely honest. So we'll see how this goes. Just made it to chapter 27, which is also page 243, which also means we are at the 100 page mark. So we now have another 100 pages, but it is 10 p.m. So if I'm being honest, I don't know if we're gonna make it. I'm already so tired. I'm gonna obviously just keep reading until I literally cannot read any longer, but I don't have a lot of faith that this is gonna happen. Guys, I have some bad news. I didn't finish my 200 pages yesterday. I'm so sorry. I tried so hard. I really did. I kept reading until I physically could not any longer. Last night we got up to page 294. So that means we read 152 pages, which look, it's really not bad. Like that's still a fantastic amount of pages. It's just not 200. And that's the whole point of the challenge. So have I failed on day 2? Yes. But am I gonna keep going? I'm gonna keep trying to see if I can do this. Yes. In saying that, it is now 11 a.m. on day 3 and I haven't read a single page yet. Liam and I hung out this morning. We went out to breakfast and then we had a few little errands to run, some like grocery shopping and stuff. So we've kind of just been out all morning. And I have a dinner at 6 p.m. that will probably just like go until the rest of the night. So I really have the next 7 hours, which is still a long time. Yeah, it really is a long time. I have 7 hours to read 200 pages. Ideally, I would love to read 250 to make up for the 50 that I didn't read yesterday. I know that's not technically how the challenge works, but I will just feel better if I read 250 pages today. But I've learnt my lesson. I cannot leave all of my reading till the end of the day like I did yesterday because obviously it just doesn't work. Doesn't work. So I'm gonna continue reading today. I actually don't know what I feel like reading right now. We'll have to see, but I'll keep you guys updated and I'm sure we'll get out 200 pages today. Like surely I have to. I do not want to fail this challenge. Well, I kind of already have, but I don't want to fail again. I finished ACOTAR and it was so good. I honestly feel like reading ACOTAR for the second time is a totally different experience to the first read because if you know, you know. I'm obviously not going to spoil it, but the series just, there's a lot of growth. There's a lot of change. And so rereading the first one and just like seeing Farah's story from the beginning, I feel like I almost like forgot some of the things that happened in this book, and rereading them, I'm like, oh my gosh, like she said that, she did that, this other character said that, this other character did that. I totally just like, I don't know, blocked it out of my memory, forgot about it. And it's just so interesting rereading it, especially from a different perspective. But I had so much fun reading this. It's such a phenomenal book, but it's time to start our next book. I feel like my brain and my heart are at war in terms of what I want to read. My brain is telling me read Binding 13. My heart is telling me no, I don't want to read it. This is actually shocking to me because I really thought this was going to be like the best book in the world. And again, I'm not going to disregard it yet. I'm gonna give it a chance, but I don't know if I'm just not in the mood for it. I don't know if maybe the book is just not for me, but I'm just not feeling it. So we're gonna go pick out a different book instead and put this one away. Onto the top shelf she goes. This is where I put my monthly reads. I like to, like every time I finish a book, I put it in this spot. So far we've read these 3 books. Ignore these. These just don't really have anywhere else to go right now. These are the 3 books we've read so far in April. I also think I'm gonna do like a reorganizing my bookshelf video because I'm kind of sick of them, like the layout that they are right now. So keep your eye out for that. I don't know when it's gonna come. And in terms of my next read, I feel like we've got such a fully stocked TBR cart because I just did my birthday book unboxing, so I feel like we have so many choices. But I think I'm finally in the mood for this one here. I have had this book on my bookshelf for so long, but I think it's time. She's big, but I'm excited. I really think I'm in the mood. I know that this is a favorite book for so many people, and I have read one other book by V.E. Schwab and absolutely loved it. I loved the concept, I loved the writing, and so I'm assuming this will be a phenomenal read, but I'm just really intrigued to see how it goes because like I said, so many people love it. Also, so many people don't. I feel like it has very mixed responses, but I'll give you an update of what I think a little bit later. Reading update. It is now 5:30 p.m. I am heading off to hang out with friends at 6, so I think I'm done with reading for today because I wouldn't be surprised if I get home pretty late, and I don't think I'll be doing any reading when I get home late. So I have just been reading The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I am loving it so much. I'm so mad at myself that I let this sit on my bookshelf unread for maybe a year. I actually don't know how long it's been on my shelf for, but I am frothing it. Like, it is beautifully written. The story is so interesting. The concept is just extremely intriguing to me, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. In saying that, I know a lot of people say that it's a little bit slower paced, it kind of drags on a little bit, and obviously I'm only a little bit of the way through, so like maybe I'll agree with that like once I get further along, but right now it is just stunning, beautiful, perfect. I am obsessed, and if I end up really loving this all the way through, I'm gonna just have to get my hands on every single V.E. Schwab book there is out there. I feel like her writing is just chef's kiss. But yeah, I'm up to page 121, which means according to my stats, we have read 246 pages today, which is stunning. We love to see it because we read 125 pages of ACOTAR and 121 pages of Addie LaRue. I'm having fun. I'm really enjoying this challenge, especially because I'm reading really good books. Like, I've really had a great run of good books so far, apart from Binding 13, which again, I don't hate. It's just not like gripping me. I'm just not like obsessed. Everything else, it just seems so much more exciting for me to pick up. In saying that though, everything that I have picked up and like really enjoyed so far in the last like week have all been fantasy books. So maybe I just need to leave Binding 13 for now. I don't know, I'm like scared to stop reading it and come back to it later because I feel like I'm just like gonna lose the momentum. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, I think I'm in a fantasy mood. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hello friends, it is day 4. It is 2:45 p.m. and I have just finished my 200 pages of the day. Today's pages flew by. This book is really making this challenge easy. I started the day on page 120 and now I'm on page 319. I also did read like maybe 3 pages of Binding 13 today, which is obviously not a lot. I'm gonna try and read some more of this tonight, I think. But yeah, I am loving this book. It is just such an interesting concept. How many pages have we got left? I've got about 220 pages left of this book, so hopefully I'll be able to finish it tomorrow potentially. This book is just so good. If for some reason you don't know what it's about, it is about a girl called Addie LaRue and she makes a deal so that she can live forever, but the catch is no one will remember her. So she is not able to have any relationships or friendships or really properly connect to anyone because they all forget her until one day she meets someone who doesn't forget her, which is so interesting. So yeah, I'm like over halfway now and I just feel like it's getting more and more interesting and I don't know where the story is going to go or how it's going to end. It's not a very predictable storyline, which is really fun. I will say there's not a lot going on. Like the plot, it's not like super plot heavy in terms of like things happening. It's much more of a, I don't know if memoir is the right word, but I guess maybe like a character study, just like the story of a person's life. That's what it feels like. Like, yes, there are things happening and obviously her story is so interesting because of this whole forgetting situation, but it's not like, oh my gosh, and then this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and they went on this adventure. It's very much just like going through the day-to-day life of Addie LaRue. We do also have like a then and now timeline because she has lived for like 300 years because she's gonna live forever. So there are like flashbacks to, I think the 1700s. Yeah, like 1715. And then it will flash forward to the now, which is like 2014. So she's lived for 300 years. So it is interesting. I don't want to make it sound like it's not interesting because it definitely is. But yeah, it's not like an adventure or a mystery or anything. It's just kind of like the invisible life of Addie LaRue. You know what I'm saying? Like it really is just her life story. And now that she's found someone who doesn't forget her, we're obviously learning a lot more about that character. So just really enjoying it and I'm so glad that I picked this up because it is flying by. I was so intimidated by this book for so long because it was so long and so chunky and I was just like, oh, it's so intimidating. But now that I've actually started, it is flying by.
Start to get dressed and then we cry, 'cause we both know it's gonna hurt, but not as much as this does, oh baby.
I have just finished The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I don't know what I was expecting from the ending, but I don't think it was that. And I don't mean the ending as in like the last couple chapters. I mean the ending as in like the last couple pages. It almost feels like there should be a sequel. Is that like not a thing? When I was getting closer to the end, I was like, wow, this is ending so beautifully and so poetically and everything feels like it's the way it should be. Yes, a little bit sad with some things, but I was like, oh, this is like a nice little ending. And then the last couple pages are just like, bam, this is not what you thought. I feel like V.E. Schwab is quickly becoming a favorite author of mine. I've only read one other book by them, so I know that might be a bit presumptuous for me to claim that, but I've read Vicious and I've read this, and the writing and the concepts are just stunning and I love them so much. And I definitely want to read probably everything on her backlist. I do have Vengeful, so I definitely want to read that, and I also have A Darker Shade of Magic on my 23 books to read in 2023, and I also have it on my Kindle because it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I'll definitely get to that at some point this year. I don't know when, maybe this month, maybe next month, maybe not, we'll see how it goes, but I'm just so impressed by this, and I cannot believe I didn't pick it up earlier, even though I've already said that. But finishing that also means that I've finished my 200 pages for today, so patting myself on the back for that one. And honestly, I'll probably do a little bit more reading later today because it's only 4 p.m, so we have like a decent chunk of the day still to go, and I don't really have any plans. It is Easter Monday when I'm filming this, so it is a public holiday, hence why I've been able to do so much reading already today because I don't have to do as much work. But I also forgot to mention to you guys, but yesterday I also started a new book. Is that a bit ridiculous? Yes, but we all know by now I like starting new books. I like having multiple books on the go. And last night I randomly started The Housemaid. I literally saw one TikTok from Larry Reed's or Larissa who said she was in a slump, and so she picked up The Housemaid, and she said she flew through it in one night. And she also said it gave her Verity vibes, and I already had this downloaded on my Kindle because it's also on Kindle Unlimited, and I downloaded it a while ago because I'd heard some really great reviews. And so last night when I told myself I was going to read Binding 13, I did in fact stop reading that and start reading this instead. I couldn't help myself. I'm just not vibing with Binding 13. I honestly think I'm not in the mood for it because I know it's not a bad book. I know. I feel it in my soul that it's like not the book. It's just me. I'm up to chapter 15, which is page 82. So that's actually better than I thought. I think I read like 30 pages yesterday and then like 50 pages today. But I'm 26% of the way through it, and I feel like I'm flying through it because it's just so easy to read. At the end of every chapter, it just makes me want to keep reading. I know Larissa compared it to Verity, and I like do see the parallels, but I also don't want to market it to you guys as like a Verity situation because I feel like a lot of people loved Verity, and I just like want to be careful with direct comparisons like that. But if you don't know what The Housemaid is about, it's about a girl who becomes a housemaid for a really wealthy family. It's like a mum, a dad, and a little girl, and the mum is crazy, like super weird. She doesn't really realize she's crazy at first, and she's like subtly crazy, almost like in a gaslighting way, and just like really nitpicky of like little things that the housemaid is doing, and also just like making the housemaid feel like she's going crazy even though she's not, or at least like I don't think she is. It's just very interesting, and I'm intrigued to see how it goes. I feel like I've read some other books like this, potentially. Obviously I don't know how it's going to end, but I'm really hoping it's not going to be predictable, and I'm hoping this book doesn't end the same way that those ones did, because I feel like I've just read too many books where it ends a certain way, and I'm really hoping and praying this one doesn't end that way. I feel like it could happen, but also I just have no idea. It's just like my only theory, but hopefully it proves me wrong. So obviously I'll keep you guys updated. I wouldn't be surprised if I read a little bit more of this tonight because I'm definitely in the mood to pick it up because it is just so addictive. But another book bites the dust. Let's go pop this on the bookshelf. I also had my friends Grace and George come over earlier today, and they picked out some new books to borrow because I am basically the designated librarian of the friendship group, and George took Akatar with her, which I'm very excited for her to read. But it was up here on my monthly read shelf. It was just here. So if you're wondering where that's gone, it's gone to another home temporarily, but I'm excited for her to read that and check it out. Hello, my sweet friends. It is day 6 and also the last day of this reading challenge that I'm doing. It's honestly been very fun, but also I don't think I could read 200 pages every single day. It is currently 7 p.m. I haven't finished my pages yet, but hopefully I have enough time to finish them. I did decide to start 2 new books today. I don't know why. It just happens when it happens and I just go with it. The first book is a new one on my Kindle. Like you've been able to tell this entire video, I have been trying very hard to read Binding 13, and I do think I'll finish it sometime this month, but I just don't think this is the week for it. I'm just not vibing with it. I'm not connecting with it, and I don't think it's the book's fault. I think it's just like the current mood that I'm in. It's just not the book for me right now. So I've put it down for a little bit and I'll probably pick it up later this month, but I did start a new Kindle read because I have just been loving reading on my Kindle recently. So I picked up The Bully by Devney Perry, which is on my TBR for the month, and it's also the fourth book in the Calamity Montana series, and I think I'm like 20% of the way through this. Let's see where I got up to. I read a chunk of it this morning. I read 56 pages, which is 19%, so that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. And then also this afternoon when I'd finished my work for the day, I decided to pick up a non-fiction book, which is obviously not a genre I read a lot of, but I do do always try to read something. And so I decided to pick up Know My Name by Chanel Miller. This is a book that I've been wanting to pick up for a very, very long time, but I know it's going to be a hard read. So I've kind of put it off for that reason, but I've decided this month is the month I'm going to pick it up. So I did read the first chapter. The font in this book is quite tiny, so I feel like it's taking me a lot longer to get through one of these pages compared to some of my other books. However, the book itself is already very touching. It is obviously going to be a hard read, so I think I'm probably not going to read any more of it tonight because I don't want to go to bed with these words swimming around my brain, because it's just obviously not nice to hear, especially right now where we're kind of just going back through the case. If you don't know, this is a memoir of Chanel Miller, who was the survivor of the Stanford sexual assault case. I know this book had a lot of hype probably a year or two ago, so I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this or read it, and again, I think it'll be a very powerful story, but I also know it's going to be a hard read, so I think it'll be like I read one chapter at a time sort of thing, not like I binge it all at once type of thing. So I think tonight, just to chill out a bit, I've got the candle going, I've got my pajamas on, I just want to calm myself down because I'm not feeling super calm right now. Having a bit of an anxious evening, but that's okay. It's okay because we're doing things that make us happy. I think I'm gonna read my silly little small town romance that makes me feel all giggly and happy inside. Maybe I'll drink a cup of tea, enjoy my candle, and have an early night. So I will update you guys tomorrow with my final check-in. I'll let you guys know exactly how many pages I read each day. Did we complete the challenge or not? And obviously we can run through the books that I read in this video. We have made it to the end of this challenge and I thought we could do a little bit of a recap. So, in terms of how many pages I read each day, on day 1 I read 277, on day 2 I read 152, which obviously means I did not complete the 200 pages. On day 3 I read 246, on day 4 I read 252, on day 5 I read 533 pages, and on day 6 I read 206 pages. So, the grand total of our 6 days of reading was 1,666 pages, which I'm really, really happy with. Obviously, we did have one day where we didn't complete the 200 pages, but overall, it was a very successful challenge, and it didn't feel like a super hard thing to do. In saying that, I did do this over the Easter weekend, so we had like Good Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Easter Monday, and all of those days are like public holidays, so like 4 out of the 6 days weren't necessarily like work days, so that definitely made it a lot easier. The one day that I didn't finish my 200 pages was a day that I was like hanging out with friends all day. I definitely don't think 200 pages a day is realistic just for an average week. I think I just picked a great time to do it. I probably could read 200 pages a day if I really disciplined myself and like really made time for it, but I'm just not always in the mood to read that much every day, and that's okay. I don't think I need to, but I'm sure that I'll also have days like day 5 where I read 500 pages in one day just because I was really enjoying the book that I was reading. So I don't think every day is going to be the same, and I don't think that this is something that I'm going to just like continue. I'm not going to like give myself a goal of pages to achieve every single day. I'm just going to read whatever I feel like reading, but it is just interesting to track it and just like see how hard or easy it is. In terms of the books that we read, so the first one that I finished was The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. I think I rated this one 4 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I still haven't picked up the third one, so hopefully I'll pick up the last book in that trilogy soon and finish it off because I'm really enjoying it. The next book I finished was Akatar, but I've lent that out to Georgia, so I don't have the physical copy here, but obviously that was a reread, but also just like a lot of fun. I think I'm gonna stick with my rating of 4 stars, which I think is what I gave it the first time I read it. Then we also finished The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I think I'm gonna give this 4.5 because I loved it. It was just stunning. I love the writing, I love the premise, I thought the characters were super interesting. I just thought everything about it was very intriguing to me. Definitely recommend it if you haven't read it yet, but I feel like so many people have. And I also finished The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, and I didn't even tell you guys about it, but I really enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars as well. I did find some parts of it a little bit predictable, but not everything. Like there were still things that shocked me, and like I was still like, oh my gosh, like I didn't expect that. So that was really fun. I read it before bed and I literally couldn't put it down until I had finished it. Like I was reading it on my Kindle and I was just like laying there and I was literally like half falling asleep, and I kept being like, no, I need to finish it. I've only got like 10% left of it or whatever it was. And so I just read it so quickly and so fast, and it was just a really great palate cleanser also, I would say. As for the books that I started but didn't finish, obviously we all know that I tried to read Binding 13. I got up to page 231, so like not even halfway through. I honestly think I'm just not in a romance mood right now because I've also picked up another romance book that I'll mention in a sec, and I'm enjoying it, but it's just like not hitting the same, and I think it's just my mood. So maybe I'm just in a fantasy / thriller mood right now, and that's okay. I also mentioned this book at the beginning of the video, To Kill a Kingdom. I didn't read any more of this. I'm still on page 26, which I was on a week ago, so I'm sure I'll get to this at some point, but I didn't make any progress on that. I also started reading Know My Name by Chanel Miller, and again, I think this is one of those books I'm going to read a little bit slower just because it is a little bit of a more difficult read, but I do think it'll be a really powerful story, so I'm excited to continue my read. And then lastly, I picked up The Bully by Devney Perry on my Kindle. This is the 4th book in the Calamity Montana series, which I started last month and I've continued this month, and I really enjoyed the series as a whole. I wouldn't say this book specifically is super gripping, at least right now. Like, I'm not super like obsessed with it, but it is a really easy read because I love the town, I love the characters, like I already know a lot about the town and the people involved, so it's just a very like pleasant experience, but I wouldn't say I'm like obsessed with it. But again, I feel like I'm just not in a huge romance mood right now. So those are all of the books that I picked up during this challenge. I honestly did have so much fun. If you have any ideas for other like challenge type of videos, challenge type things that I could do, let me know because I feel like it could be a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you all have a fantastic day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.